do poorly in there, but I know that I wouldn't do the chick thing. I would at least try.
Well,
you know,
what would be your downfall? Oh, Kyle, what would be your downfall in doing poorly in prison or jail? Either
being a smartass or something, like accidentally saying something, being like bitch or something like that accidentally, and then suddenly I'm target on my back.
You try to explain, like the joke was too good not to say. What? That doesn't happen to you?
No, I was doing an impression of your voice as a bit.
but my question would be, why try? Why make your time in there any more difficult or risky than it needs to be? Like if they're paying me a bonus, okay, sure. If they're like, yeah, this is your base pay and this is your pay if you find X, Y, and Z. All right, well that's a different story. But if they're like, yeah, you're part of a TV show, you get paid this. We want you to find some drug dealers, maybe some weaponry, any intel you can find to be good. All right, do I get paid for more for that? Oh no. All right, well, I'm going to sit over here and play fucking checkers for 60 days. There's no way I'm like going to act suspiciously around anybody.
I know you're right.
There was a point where actually production pulled me in for an interview and they said, you do know we're filming like a reality show, right? And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, you've just been hanging out in your room reading a book. I'm like, I'm in jail.
Yeah. You already signed the papers. I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
I think about going into that show the same way I imagine losing a bunch of weight. Where I'll just think like, man, that would be sick. And then reality comes around. It's like, nah. Like, I guarantee I would go in with like, man, I'm going to make sure I'm one of the contestants that people like. And then after like a day or maybe even like 40 minutes, I'd be like, no, I'm going to try and survive and not get beat up. Would be my modus operandi.
You come out of there with some teardrop tattoos or something. You go the complete opposite direction.
You come out that way. I got totally shaved, just no hair whatsoever. Yeah, I talked about that before, where I was like they're inducting you into the brotherhood, and you're like, yeah, you know, make me earn those swastikas. Start out with just an eagle, but make it look, you know, kind of like the American eagle. Like not too angular, please. Oh no. With that,
put a big 88 on your back. You're like, what does this mean? Don't worry about it.
My favorite player is Patrick Kane. Get a swastika. Have to turn it into a Windows logo. I just fucking love Vista, dude. Nobody else did, but I stand. Was there a full body portrait of Adolf Hitler on your back?
That's Charlie Chaplin.
It's Charlie Chaplin.
It's Chaplin's fan.
You gotta get the cover up where he's got the cane and the top hat and everything to like make it right.
No, but I don't want to spend the money. I've got Hitler in full Nazi fucking regalia, and then all I do is add the hat. But he's still singing Island
Still
over there.
wearing the jacket.
The jacket. No, it's
he's giving the salute and everything.
It's like, no, you don't remember Charlie Chaplin from that role? Hitler? Yeah. Like, was he even alive around then? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely he was. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that would be very tough to have someone approach you and want you to have them do. That's what I would fear the most, is going in, having somebody wanting you to do a favor and knowing they've got a bunch of heavy hitters behind them and being like, what do I even do? I can't say, I guess they would tell you, the guards would tell you to say no. But in the moment, I feel like I'd be like, yeah, dude, I'll fucking get you Tylenol from the place. And then before I know it, I'm giving hand jobs to Arian.
Yeah, I fell in a similar situation when my tablet got broke. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys watched that that part, but so the guy's name Swole broke the tablet, slid it underneath my door, and then was like, "Oh man, you must have stepped on it or something when you opened your door." I'm like, "Yeah, that didn't happen, dude." But all of like the Bloods, the Crips, the like GD, like everybody came together and they were like, "Hey, look, like we're gonna roll on this dude, but we need you to make that first move." And I'm sitting in my cell thinking like, well, I can't be a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, but I also like can't just go out there and just blast this dude for no reason either, you know? And I mean, these dudes were talking about like shanking him with mop hand, like, you know, breaking the mop mop stick, dropping the mop bucket off the top balcony. I mean, I'm like, what if this dude ends up dead? And I threw the first punch, like,
yeah, you're about to be on 6,000 days in.
Yeah.
How'd it work out? What'd you do?
Well, actually, so there was a lot of issues that he was causing in our pod. I mean, he was hijacking a lot of people, just taking everybody's commissary. And he was actually even intimidating the trustees that were delivering food. So he had an altercation with one of the trustees from dinner, and the whole like him breaking my tablet happened after dinner. So when we got locked up that night, the green team actually came in and pulled him out. So it worked out perfect. And everybody was like, man, why did he get pulled out? And I was like, I guess it was because of that trustee, that altercation he had with that trustee. But most likely it was because of the altercation with myself and a combination of everything else. But
yeah, that was really fortunate that panned out. That
absolutely.
They knew you were, like, you told them you were only in for 60 days, right? Or
no. Yeah, nobody knows how long you're going to be in jail unless you went to court. And I hadn't been to court yet. So, and that's the other thing, man. Those inmates, they know the system. They know, like, what your crime is, how long you'll probably be there. So they were like, oh man, you'll probably only be here for like a month and a half tops, and then like, as my case progressed, like, my sentencing, I was like, man, I'm getting close. I started like building like, these stories like, oh yeah, I've been in talks with my lawyer. He's actually fighting it, and he's saying that we're not taking any plea bargains or anything like that. We're fighting this whole thing all the way through. So it's getting pushed, further and further. And then, when I actually stayed longer, I was like, man, how am I going to push this? Like 60 days, that's about a maximum sentence for what I did,
What'd you do?
Yeah.
But I don't even remember how I kind of worked that one in, but I everybody believed me. So
what was your supposed crime?
So my cover story was that like an ex-girlfriend had taken a bunch of jewelry from my family, and she had threatened to sell it. And I was like, no. So I drove there. I knocked on her door. She opened the door. And then when she tried closing it, I stopped the door, which is breaking and entering. I don't know if anybody knows that or not, but that is technically breaking and entering. If you stop someone from closing their door. So that's breaking and entering. And her boyfriend was home, he was a police officer, but he was off duty at the time. He came out, him and I got into a physical altercation. The police came, and then all of the police are his buddies. So we went to Fulton County instead of being, I don't even remember where I was locked up originally. So.
You see, you told